Yesterday, pretrial hearings wrapped up for George Zimmerman, the man accused of murdering 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in February of 2012. Zimmerman pleaded not guilty and claims that he shot Martin in self-defense. His second-degree murder trial starts on Monday. But joining me now is Martin family lawyer Benjamin Crump. It's been a year and a half since Trayvon's death, and it's been an emotional ride, not just for the nation, but for Trayvon's family. How are they coping right now with their son's passing?
You know, the best thing that could be said is they're taking it day to day. They have continued to have their faith in God and ask for prayer, because when you really think about it, nothing can prepare you for a tragedy like this, to lose your child in such a unbelievable manner.
I think for me, what has compounded the trauma of losing a child, and I can only imagine how painful that is that they've also had to deal with the trauma of having Trayvon, not George Zimmerman, but Trayvon dragged through the mud, so to speak, in the media, having his character assaulted, having his decisions questioned when he was, in fact, the victim.
Absolutely, Mark. And it's the old strategy of vilify the victim to try to justify the heinous act of the defendant. It's the same with the rape victims when you try to suggest it's her fault because of the clothes that she wore or because of her history.
Is there any legal space for George Zimmerman to say, I was walking down the street, I followed him, and I made a decision that my life was in danger?
We have to base it on the objective evidence. The problem is the only two people that was involved in this encounter was Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. And unfortunately, Trayvon Martin can't tell us his side of the story because he's dead.
What do you say, though? What do you say to people, and I'm sure the defense team would say this, they'd say, well, when Trayvon was first killed, the family put out pictures of a younger Trayvon on a horse. That was also intended to sway the nation in a certain kind of way, and that they're simply responding.
Because we want to clear this up. And just because they say something, don't believe it's accurate. We got to vet that stuff. The family never released photographs. You know where those photographs came from?
Where?
Those were photographs from his funeral that the press and the media got hold of. The picture on the horse that you speak of, that photograph was taken 2 weeks before Trayvon Martin was murdered. That was at his mother's birthday party.
The nation is, as you seem to be describing it, and I would agree with you, still struggling with the idea of not seeing a 17-year-old black man as a thug, not seeing him as a criminal. If there's so many people who are siding with George Zimmerman, so many people also who have bought into these photographs being old and tainted and all these things, if there's all this misinformation out there, how the heck is there going to be a fair trial starting on Monday?
Well, what we hope, Mark, and you have to pray that the jury will follow the law and follow the instruction that the court gives them to base their verdict on the evidence and nothing but the evidence. And I want to believe in my heart that that's what's going to happen, that they are going to base their verdict on the evidence, because the evidence is overwhelming. I'm appalled when I see my legal colleagues get on TV and say, oh, this is such a complicated case, this is such a hard case. Well, if you reverse the dynamics in this case and you have a African-American male get out his car with a 9mm gun and chase an unarmed white teenager and shoot and kill him, nobody would say that's a hard case. Nobody would say that that is a complicated case. So why is it different when you reverse the racial dynamics? Here lies the problem, while we've always contended that this is a civil rights / equal justice matter. We understand the state of Florida versus George Zimmerman is a criminal case. However, it became a civil rights case, a civil rights matter, the killing of Trayvon Martin, when the police did not arrest the killer of an unarmed child and let him go home and sleep in his bed that night.